Happy 4th of July, Suns fans. Almost all non-Suns fans thought the Suns' chances of getting any quality depth pieces were dead after trading for Bradley Beal, until Matt Ishbia flipped the script upside down and cooked up the most impressive free agent signing flurry that the Valley has ever seen. The Suns roster is completely full now with 16 out of 15 players. But like I talked about in my last video about Dwight Howard and/or Christian Wood, the Suns can continue to improve their roster if they're willing, and I think they will be willing, to cut Ish Wainwright and Isaiah Todd at some point. Doing so would free up one roster spot, and wouldn't you know it, Bol Bol just got cut by the Orlando Magic. Hit the like button for us and tell us in the comments, do you have any interest in the Suns signing Bol Bol? Obviously to a minimum contract. Now later tonight, I'm going to cover more in depth Bol Bol and him getting cut by the Magic over on my general NBA channel, Von Sanity, which I have to thank you guys for coming over and supporting the way you have. It's growing really fast. I've covered the Suns over there in at least 3 videos, so come through and check it out, especially if you want more Suns content and other NBA content. I'll pin a link in the comments. But look, when I think of Bol Bol, I remember back to his days at Oregon. He really was a poor man's version of Victor Wembanyama before anyone even knew who Wemby was. But it was mostly due to his handles and three-point shooting, which looked on point in college. But now in the NBA, his last couple of years, they've been really bad shooting-wise. In his first 2 seasons with the Nuggets, he went 44%, then 37.5%. But like I said, last couple seasons, it's just been all downhill. 25% 2 seasons ago from 3, and 26.5 last season on his most attempts per game in his career, 1.6 attempts per game, connecting on only 0.4. Very interesting set of skills for a man his height. But obviously he's built like Slenderman and hasn't panned out to the degree in the NBA that some thought he might. But after looking at his career so far, he's statistically actually a lot better than I thought he was. He only played 21 minutes per game last season, so when you look at his stats, keep that in mind. I don't necessarily think the Suns would give him more than that per game, but don't assume his 9.7 points a game is coming from playing the entirety of games. In this situation, I like to think if you extrapolate his minutes out to full-time minutes, say 38 minutes per game, in a perfect world, he'd double his stats, so 19, maybe 20 points. But then to be more realistic, I would still pull back maybe 4 or 5 points, leaving you around 14 to 15 points a game, which I actually think is very realistic considering, like we've talked about before many times, anyone playing in the Suns offense that isn't a part of the big 3 will not be paid a moment of defensive attention. So yeah, I think Bol Bol could reach 14, 15 points a game, maybe 16 if he were given more minutes. If the Suns bring him in and he plays only the same amount that he did with Orlando, 21 minutes per game, I could still see him getting around 12 points a game. And oh, what the Suns would have given for 12 points per game from anyone in the playoffs not named Booker or Durant. In fact, a couple of those games, Ayton only put up 8 points. Rough stuff. But I think it's very important, and I have seen you guys in the comments concerned about the lack of Suns defense and rebounding from the center position. That's why so many Suns fans want Dwight Howard. And for whatever reason, it looks like the Suns are really moving off of Bismack. So it would be nice to have another defensive big. Drew Eubanks has good defensive stats, but I've been assured from Blazers Uprise that he chases blocks and switches off onto ball handlers and bites off more than he can chew and gets beat. So I'm tempering my expectations. However, I am very excited to see Eubanks in a Suns jersey. But Bol is intriguing on defense. He ranked 24th overall in blocks last season, 1.2 blocks per game, while averaging, like I said, 21 minutes a game. Bismack averaged 1.4 blocks in 14 minutes a game, for what that's worth. Do remember though that his height and length, even if he's not blocking shots cleanly, he's still going to be able to alter shots and force misses. Now I've laid out the negatives, I've been pessimistic. Here's the positives that I see. He looks like a super crafty scorer, I'm not gonna lie, and it's so weird to see from a 7'2" frame like this. It is like Wemby. It is a very poor man's version of Kevin Durant because of his inconsistencies. I love his post moves and he looks so natural shooting fadeaways. I'm telling you, his movements are shockingly fluid. After my research, I'm sold. I literally want Bol Bol more than Dwight Howard, and it ain't even close. Tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget though, this Thursday, Sundo and I will be on Bleacher Report live at 2 p.m. July 6th. We'd love to see some of you guys in the chat. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys next time.